There's a reason the NBA uses the phrase where amazing happens. It sums up exactly everything you have seen in the past or witnessing now and will see from the most accomplished and skilled athletes in the world. The NBA's athletes have been providing us with endless entertainment, amazing exploits for more than 50 years. When you start to consider the plays that enthralled you and you believed could never be performed again, you will only be shown to be mistaken a few minutes, months, or years later by a player who possesses the same level of skill as the player who performed it first. The league has produced some of the greatest players in sports history, as well as some of the best teams ever to perform. Number 8. Chris Webber dazzles before the drop. Do you think TNT will ever discuss this during one of their commercials? Charles Barkley and Chris Webber were two of the best players in the NBA and respected figures on the floor before they became well-known figures on television. Webber chose to use some of his own NBA trash talk to gain the upper hand in their rivalry, with the two squared up in a clash with the Titans. This time, he spoke through his game. Paul made the wise decision to drive hard to the hoop for a huge slam over Barkley, with Webber leading the fast break and Barkley lagging. The drive was even better than the slam, because Webber twirled the ball around his body because he got up to make the throw. The phrase, "Yeah, that just happened," perfectly captures the essence of the celebratory arm lift. Number 7. Steve Nash is staring at his head with his eyes back. Steve Nash is the best passer in the league when it comes to passing. His ability to locate teammates in the tightest confines and most unlikely locations has led to 2 MVP awards and an easy candidacy to the Hall of Fame in the future. You may watch video after video that demonstrate Nash's incredible ability to find teammates with the most absurd passes, but none of them compares to the one he made to Amar Stoudemire. After years of enjoying the privilege of collecting Nash's passes, Amari's will no longer be able to do so as a result of his recent contract with the New York Knicks. Nash drew the line on this play and attracted the interest of 3 different San Antonio Spurs. Nash knew exactly what he was doing before the play started, so instead of forcing a bad shot or making a careless pass, he tossed a pass to run Tim Duncan's back into the Stoudemire's hands, who capped the play with a vicious one-handed dunk. Number 6. Jason Williams gives passing another level of complexity. A lot more points would be awarded for this play if the pass hadn't gone to an incompetent Rafe LaFrance. Although Jason Williams doesn't have a great pass-to-turnover ratio, he is well known for his highlight-worthy passes, which then performed flawlessly, looked like the creation of the Pete Maravich and Magic Johnson combined. While playing for the Sacramento Kings, Williams mostly wrote plays for Peja Stojakovic and Chris Webber, looking like a modern-day Bob Cousy in the process. When White Chocolate led a fast break with teammates on both sides of him in the 2000 rookie game, it was clear that was to come from him. Though it looked like he was gonna dish it to his right with a clever behind-the-back pass, he instead hit the ball to his left with his elbow, finding a streak LaFrance, who was fouled in the process of trying for the dunk. Who in the rookie game purposefully fouled someone? Number 5. LeBron James ends his life a changing performance with a bang. To put it mildly, LeBron James is a talented athlete. James has achieved enough in his brief 7-year career in the game to make the veterans shudder, newbies fearful of the standards they must meet. LeBron has a bright future ahead of him, and a few titles could be along the road now that he has signed with the Miami Heat. He has won 2 MVP awards in a row and an insane amount of other honors. In a 2007 postseason game against the Detroit Pistons, James decided to take the game into his own hands, leading to what may have been one of the best playoff performances ever. He not only scored the game-winning basket in a double overtime to bring his Cleveland Cavaliers to victory, but he also scored the last 25 points for the squad. Shall we attempt to put that into context? James managed to score nearly a quarter's worth of points in a row and then some. Most teams can't score 25 points in a quarter, but none of his points were more electrifying than his rocket of a jam over the 6'11" Rasheed Wallace, who foolishly attempted to challenge the physical giant. Number 4. Daryl Dawkins permanently alters the NBA. You can credit Daryl Dawkins for the reason why the backboards are no longer made of glass. In the NBA, Dawkins was already a formidable presence at 6'11" and 255 pounds. Although he wasn't much of a scorer, he was much of a bruiser. Daryl set a record in the NBA for the most fouls in a season in 1983-1984 with 386. Given that he participated in 81 games during that season, that works out to over 5 fouls per game. In the NBA community, Dawkins is not renowned for his fouls. As far as we're aware, Dawkins was the first player in NBA history to demolish a regulation basket. On November 11, 1979, Daryl smashed the glass backboard with a forceful slam that sent fragments flying across the court and left players reeling. But Daryl didn't stop there. On December 6, 1979, he duplicated the feat, smashing the board and taking down the rim in the process. Before installing indestructible backboards, the league determined that players would henceforth be penalized for shattering the board. Number 3. Shaquille O'Neal outperforms Daryl Dawkins in one. Shaquille O'Neal did the next best thing to destroying the glass backboard, tearing it down despite the NBA having switched it out for a plastic one. O'Neal was a unique individual. While he was a student at LSU, he had more size than any player to have ever set foot on an NBA floor. And he truly had a game to match, possessing unrivaled quickness, a strong low-post presence. But before he became a household name in Los Angeles, he was still a man-child growing up in Orlando. Nothing had been destroyed or broken with a new backboard for more than 10 years when Shaq determined the run had gone on long enough. During a game against the New Jersey Nets, O'Neal scored a typical power slam, but he clung to the rim for too long, tearing down the shot clock, the backboard, and almost the entire stadium in the process. It wouldn't be the last instance, however, as he would dive so forcefully upon a rim once more that it collapsed in terror. Number 2. The Miami Heat welcomes Alonzo Mourning back with emphatic return. Alonzo Mourning was leaving his mark on South Beach long before Dwayne Wade was putting on a show in Miami. Since joining the Miami Heat in 1995-1996 campaign, Zo has had a good impact on the squad. In his first season with the team, he made it to the postseason while leading the team in points, rebounds, and blocks per game. He would lead the Heat to their first division title, their first trip to the conference finals, 61 wins the following season, still a franchise record. Even though Zo and the Heat would experience several losses due to their encounters with the New York Knicks, Mourning's abrupt retirement was the most depressing development of all. Mourning was limited to just 13 games due to a rare, potentially fatal renal disease that was discovered before the 2000 and 2001 season. While he did participate in 75 games during the 2001-2002 season, he did not resemble the previous Zo and missed the 2002 and 2003 campaign. Mourning returned to the Heat as Shaquille O'Neal's backup after a brief 2-season stint with the New Jersey Nets. In the last seconds of a laugher of a game between the Heat and Sacramento Kings, he made his comeback. He made his presence known right away by deflecting the Kings' opening shot attempt and grabbing the rebound that followed. The NBA should honor Alonzo for his achievements both on and off the court because it was one of the most memorable moments in the Miami Heat history. Number 1. The Los Angeles Lakers defense goes up and under the Julius Erving. NBA fans throughout the world know Julius Erving as the man who transformed the sport of dunking. NBA fans were drawn to hitherto unseen facet of the game, which he would showcase on a nightly basis, owing to his impressive feats of flight. But only a layup is among his most well-known moves from his days in the ABA and NBA. But it wasn't just any layup. He dazzled the Philadelphia 76ers audience with a one-handed reverse layup to showcase his hand time and playmaking skills. NBA fans are still in awe of this play 30 years later. So this is the end of our today's video. Did you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.